Hi, Marie here from Pottery Crafters. In this video, I'm going to show you a fun way to make wavy bowls on the pottery wheel and give you a few tips and tricks along the way. In my most recent kiln opening video, I mentioned that if there were enough requests, I would demonstrate how to create wavy bowls. These are easy to make and no two bowls are exactly alike. Like nature. All the supplies and resources mentioned in this video are listed for you below in the show notes. The clay I'm using for these bowls is Amaco Amix Stoneware White Clay. First, I'll go over a few important things you need to do before making the bowls. The first is probably the least liked but most important: wedging. You want the clay to have the same consistency and no air bubbles. If the air bubble is big enough, it'll be impossible to center your clay. If you want to find a wedging technique that would be best for you, then you want to check out my article on my Pottery Crafters website, where I show 5 different ways to wedge clay for you to choose from. I have the link for you below in the show notes. The next is weighing out your clay. For this bowl, I'm going to weigh out 2 pounds of clay. It's always good to weigh out your clay to get a feel for the bowl size. Next, you'll need a throwing bat. The larger, the better. Now you need to find a place to place your bat, because this can't be done after you've thrown your bowl. You need a space that is wide enough to fit the bat, and even on both sides. If the height isn't even, the bowls will turn out too wonky on one side. I moved my tables together and placed a wearboard on the shorter table to even them out. Now that the clay is wedged and weighed and a place to set your bowls, let's start making wavy bowls. Center your clay. If you're having trouble centering, I have both an easy step-by-step video and an article on 11 problems centering and how to fix them. I have the links below for you in the show notes. Open your clay by pressing down with both thumbs. Then place your anchor hand on the side of the clay and use your fingers to continue opening. Make sure you have enough clay on the bottom. If you're unsure, it's best to check the thickness with a needle tool. I'll be using this wavy wire cutter to remove my bowl from the bat, so I want to make sure I have enough clay on the bottom. 1/3 of an inch is good. Once you have the depth, push the base of the bowl outward. Make sure you compress the bottom before pulling up the walls to keep the S-cracks away. Now you want to go up before you go out. When pulling up the walls, keep the pressure of your fingers even and consistent. Once you get closer to the top, make sure the top is thicker because the clay is going to flare out, and you don't want the rim to be too thin. Add more water to the clay if you feel any friction on your hands. Another upward pull. Now I'm going to flare outward. Make sure you're applying even pressure while pushing the clay outward on the inside and supporting with your fingers on the outside. If you like what you see, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon to get notified when a new video comes out. Continue to pull outward until the bowl collapses. Once the bowl collapses, remove any water from the center of the bowl. Remove the bat from the wheel and flip it over. Then place the bat between the tables to allow the bowl to dry upside down. Be careful not to hit the sides. I check the bowl every half an hour, then every 10 minutes until the clay is firm enough to stand on its own. Here are a few tips when making your wavy bowl. If your bowl doesn't collapse all the way, you can still flip it upside down to create the waves. If you pull the clay outward too many times, the clay can get too thin and rip apart, like this. If you press the sponge on the inside walls of the bowl, the clay will stick to the bat. And the sides of the bowl will not fall from the bat. This is a good way to practice making larger bowls without being in fear of the bowl being wobbly or collapsing, because it will collapse and create a nice wavy bowl. This is 3.5 pounds of clay. Keep in mind that you can only make a bowl that's as large as your bat. This bat is 14 inches across. Once the bowl is firm enough, but not leather hard, place it back on the wheel to take it off the bat. The clay should still be malleable or workable, so you can make any small adjustments. You may want to move the waves in a bit or out a bit. Be careful not to make too big of an adjustment, as the clay could crack. I'm making a nice foot with the Ultimate Edger. This is a really cool tool to use, and still one of my favorites. I have a video on different ways that you can use the Ultimate Edger. I left the link for you in the show notes below. Once the foot is made, I squeeze a little water on the bat. Grab my wavy wire clay cutter and run it through the bottom of the bowl. Place the bowl on a wear board. See all the clay left on the wheel? That's why I want to make sure the bottom is thick enough. Now you have a wavy bowl. Then I place plastic over my bowls for 2 days for more even drying. For more detailed information on drying time, I have a video and an article on my Pottery Crafters website. I left the links for you below in the show notes. Keep an eye out for my video where I'll demonstrate a few techniques for glazing these bowls. I think this is my favorite. I think it'll make a nice fruit bowl or for chips, and the smaller bowl for salsa or guacamole. There you have it, a fun and simple method for creating a wavy bowl on the pottery wheel. You watching helps me to make more videos, like this one. Now head on over to my How to Use Bats on the Pottery Wheel video, or How to Make Wear Boards video. If you do, I get to play with more clay. Let's stay dirty.